Good morning, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm Yash Merchant, and I lead a few functions at Great Lakes, including branding and now most recently alumni relations as well. We have a packed session ahead of us, one that will hopefully answer your burning question of can an executive MBA really take me from where I am to the senior leadership table? So, spoiler alert before I tell you, yes, it can, but we'll let our accomplished alumni who have joined us as panelists this morning tell you their stories and, of course, share their experiences before, during, and after the executive MBA. Now, I know the corporate world is kind of fast paced, and sometimes, like all of us do at some point, you may wonder, am I just getting faster at the same thing, or am I actually going somewhere? So that's where an executive MBA or PGXPM, as we call it at Great Lakes, comes in to ensure you're not just running in circles, but actually trying to sprint towards leadership roles that matter. So, to start off, there's that famous saying, right? If you're the smartest person in the room, you're actually in the wrong room. Well, today you're absolutely in the right room. We've got three dynamic alumni who will share their stories, and trust me, their experiences will really inspire you. Before we dive in, let me just quickly introduce you to our panelists who are here with us. First, we have Ramakrishnan Venkataramanan, who's currently the Director of Global Product Development and Supply IT Lead India at Bristol Myers Squibb. Now, Ram has a knack for solving global supply chain challenges, and if anyone knows how to lead through complexity, it's him. And second, we have Gayatri Devi. She's the co-founder at Sangatna Angels. So from corporate leadership being the driving force behind a startup accelerator, Gayatri has some incredible insights on how she pivoted her career and went from corporate to an entrepreneurial boardroom. And we have one more alumni who's joining us, Praveen from Godrej and Boyce. I'll introduce him as soon as he joins us. He's just joining in the next couple of minutes. Okay. So now that we know who's with us, let's hear about their journey before, through, and after pursuing Great Lakes' PGXPM. Each of our alumni speakers will take about 2 to 3 minutes to share their stories, from navigating daily operations to stepping into strategic leadership roles. They've seen it all. As you listen, let me just tell you to think about your own journey, your role today, where you aspire to be, and whether this sounds like the path you want to take. Okay. Just before they start, a quick disclaimer. If you have any admissions related questions, you'll have plenty of time to get that answered from our admissions team and also from the info available on the website. For today's webinar, please make use of, the alumni journeys, the transitions, any questions related to, transition stories that you may have or how the program will really help you, because that's what our alumni will be able to help you with. And you can put in your questions in the Q&A box. When we reach the segment to answer them, we'll answer them one by one. Okay. So may I request Ram to start, please? Thanks.
Thank you all, and really happy to be here. Always alma mater is something close to me, and really nice to meet you all on a Sunday morning. So myself, Ramakrishnan Venkataramanan, you can address me Rama. I passed out of Great Lakes PGXPM 2012, 13, 20, yeah, quite some time back. It's now that when I'm having this session, it's 10 to 11 years back and long time back. But to just go to the discussion, right? I was more of a solid coder, developer, programmer. That was my background. So I started my career as a developer, architect. And what happened, and I was in the pharma domain. So I was with Novartis and other healthcare company. And I was growing pretty well. Like I was in the technical ladder growing very well. But at some point, I felt that there is not enough potential to grow further, because I was more one-dimensional. I was technically aligned and I was able to bring value there, but couldn't expand more than when I say expand means make more impact or add value to the overall organization, right? I was only seeing a part of the problem. I think that's when I had something similar session like this. I was in Chennai and I went to one of these sessions about Great Lakes and the MBA. And I had this challenge that first I want to understand whether I can really do this executive MBA, because it's balancing both work and academics. So that's when I tried to understand what is the commitment required. And it took some time to organize myself. But I think I would say that this is one of the best decisions I've done so far, because if I go back, that was the exact point from which I start pivoting to different parts of my career. So post that 2020, 12, 13 career in Novartis, where I was an architect or you can say a developer or whatever it is in the technical ladder. After the executive MBA, I started more going across the business, like taking project management roles, and then later into a functional accountability. And then now I'm currently heading a whole global product and supply chain, which is nowhere related to what I was doing 10 years back. So I can say that that's a clear case where somehow I'm more pointing towards that your internal compass gets aligned, that you're no more one dimensional. You add more dimension to yourself, and it gives you a lot of confidence in taking the larger challenges which is in the organization. You're no more limited to a particular small window, but a larger window of looking at the larger problems end to end, able to solve these business problems. And that's where I feel this executive MBA really helps, giving, be it finance, be it strategy, be it operations, be it supply chain, because supply chain was one topic which also I went through. So it really helps. So in that sense, I feel that this really helped me in my career, because after this, I moved into research and development, supply chain, commercial, enterprise data, but solving more the end-to-end problem, where we look at it strategically how organization in a pharma should try to be ready in the 2024 or the next generation. Yeah. I just pause here. So do we take questions here, Yash, or?
No, I think next after Gayatri also talks about her journey, we'll open it up
Sure.
for questions. Okay, over to you, Gayatri.
Sure. Thanks, Yash. Thank you, Rama, for introducing yourself. So I will start with my introduction of short introduction of myself. I'm Gayatri Devi Kalyanaraman, and I did my PGXPM, part of the 2010 batch. So I think if I remember correctly, we were the first one which batch which moved from Srinagar colony to the to our current beautiful campus. And I'm also a co-founder of Sangatna Angels, which is a investment management platform for getting mentors as well as getting investors for companies. So to look back at what I have also been doing for the last 10, 12 years after my MBA was I enable organizations to accelerate towards business agility. What does that mean? I bring expertise in terms of org transformation, small changes in terms of how you build teams towards high performing, and create that real culture of transparency and nimbleness into it. So I help very big organizations. So recent one I can tell you is that from a seed company of 20 people, they moved to a 250 people. Through this period of time, this particular firm has now AUM, the assets under management, of about $50 billion. So that's really what I have been doing for the last 10, 12 years. And just to give a preamble, like Rama, when I was thinking about back in 2008, I was a software developer. I just became a manager of 10, 12 people. I had a very failed project in my hand. When I failed, right now it looks like 3 months delay looks failure, but I remember that point in time, it felt like something was missing. I was in Chicago at that point in time, and I was reading up on Kellogg, and was very fascinated with Dr. Balachandran, and said when he was talking about Great Lakes, and I also moved back from Chicago to Chennai. I said, this is the time to do PGXPM. Two big reasons why I took it up is, one, I had a great job. I didn't want to leave out my job, or at that point in time, or any point in time for all of us, leave out the opportunity cost of a year or 2 year taking a break. It's a long period of time. And if you remember, 2008 was a sluggish period of time when jobs are concerned. So you want to take that into consideration. The second one, what I got an advice when I joined one of these kind of firm conversations was when you go through a MBA education, you are, and you also have a job at the same time, you get to practice right during the same period of time. It's not like, you write it down and you have it for a saving for later kind of a recipe book anymore. You actually write it down. And that happened to me time and again. As I was doing, I realized that I was getting more and more complex projects, and I was delivering it with ease. And the team size moved from 10 people to 260 people by 2011, right? During the flurry of so much of work that is happening and your child, your family, everything, I did not pause to think. When during my graduation, when you get graduation, you also think about your journey for a few years. That's when I realized that, hey, guess what? I have had this thing. So what I've realized is that when I was asking for feedback with my seniors as well as what they've realized is there has been subtle changes in terms of how I was approaching it, how my communication has been, how my writing skill has been. It means that my writing skill must have been awful, but at the same time, what I also realized is small changes people started noticing. And more you are dependable, and you are more making delivery, making your work happen. What happens is your own belief in yourself changes dramatically. So I got 2 promotions in the next couple of years. And what's very cool in the next few years is that I started taking charge of my career. Rather than, expecting some other manager or some other, person to enable me, help me. That was my attitude towards that earlier, saying it was always that my manager will protect me or somebody else will help me in doing it. But after my management education, couple of things really changed in my head. One is I am the brand ambassador for my work. It means that everything that I do, it's not about my CV that has to be perfect. Everything that I do, for example, for this conversation, it could be a set of people, but I prepare in the framework that was taught to me. And it's all about applying what you learn, right? Be it finance, be it strategy, be it execution, be it excellence, like what Rama was saying, supply chain, any of that. I think that really helps. And that sort of change in your mindset builds a very different model altogether. So just fast forward, the last 10 years, I've been a consultant. I've been running my own firms as well as part of corporate leadership. And it's very amazing that doors start opening for you when you have a brand that you carry for yourself. So back to you, Yash. Happy to take questions, but I didn't want to take more time than this.
Thanks. I think we've already received some very interesting questions. So we'll start with the questions first. So there's a question from Pradyum. His question is 2 parts. So one part is more on the curriculum, and the second part I'll pass on to Rama. The question is, could you please tell me something about the specializations offered in this program and how the program will help me in getting higher roles in my organization? Okay, so the first question, Pradyum, related to the specialization, right? I'll tell you, we call them themes, okay? So when you start off the program, it's of course a little bit of business essentials, fundamentals. Then we move into core subjects such as, finance, marketing. And then, as you know, Great Lakes is known for analytics. So there's a part of analytics also. Some of the other themes are value chain, demand and supply functions, technology, design, innovation and entrepreneurship, leadership and strategy, which is, of course, a key area of the program because you'll be moving into leadership roles after that. Succeeding in a global environment related to international business and so on, solving business challenges through case studies, action learning, and of course a few others, every year based on what the industry demands, what the industry talks about. We keep editing or amending these themes. Okay, so that's the first part of the question. Second part, Rama, if you can take, how will the program help me in getting higher roles within my organization? If you could shed some light on that.
Sure, no, absolutely. And a good question there, right, Pradyum? And on the first part, I will tell you why it really attracted me. And I just love the concept that it's global business process or end-to-end view, but with the Indian mindset. For me, that was very, very catchy, because for me, it was very important that I didn't want to learn something which is like going there in US and learning US case studies and saying, hey, that's happened in Coca-Cola. I want to really understand what's happening in India. And I felt that we are in that period in a trajectory where we are going to be the leading economy or the country in the future, right? Which we were in the past. We lost somewhere direction, but we will get there. So for me, the theme of the course was very, very catchy. And the second is the faculty. As Gayatri, Devi mentioned, Bala and the whole was just too influential. Now, coming to the point about how you get help in getting roles, I'll give you by example, right? See, most of time when we are starting off the career, right, we are very one dimensional. So what I mean by one dimensional is I'm very narrow. I'm in my own space looking at the problem, be it chemical. I did my chemical engineering as my bachelor. So we are solving a very small problem in a particular pocket. And what we are most of time, what we are doing, from my perspective, what I was doing was I was very short-sighted. I had a very short-term view of everything. But what the course does is it equips you with a larger lens. And I'll tell you why this is important. See, from an organization, right? Organization's problem are never one-dimensional, never siloed. It's a larger problem. A supply problem is because somewhere there's a production issue, somewhere there is a manufacturing issue. It's never an issue in one place, and it's not like I fix this and the issue is gone. So what happens is that what I realized, and as Gayatri mentioned, when you're in the course, you're learning and applying it. What I really saw is that it's not that you're learning something new, but it's just that your own internal knowledge is getting expanded, and your view is much larger. You think long term, you think end to end, and that's a thinking which I felt happened in the 2 years, where I was just very much one dimensional, technology oriented, solving at a particular. I was just solving that particular problem, but the course helped me to look at a larger perspective, looking from end to end. Okay, if this is a problem, what is the impact there? How can I solve the larger problem? And this really helped the other side, let's say my manager or the leadership, say, hey, this guy is good. And to be very honest, the organization or any large organization, right, really wants these kind of talent where they can think long term, they can see end to end and connect the dots. I think that's where this really helped. I never knew how to look at a financial document, right? So now, starting from there, that was very interesting. I never knew what was strategy. Like strategy was completely, for a tech guy like me, strategy was completely a buzzword. So really to apply and get to know really helped me in kind of, even in my own space, tech strategy, putting a strategy for next 3-4 years. What does it happen? How do you do it? And along with the network which you have, I just want to bring that element also, is that in your room, right, in your classroom, you have a network of people with varied experience, and that also gives you a lot of perspective how to grow an organization, what is the right aspects that you want to build. So I always think that we are a work in progress, we are never complete, right? So that's where I think, from where I was one dimensional thinking, the end-to-end view, the subjects really made me think a little larger and the long-term view. I think that's where this is immediately seen by the leadership or whoever is on the other side, right? They would really pick you up saying, hey, I need this guy to lead this project. I need this guy to be there solving this problem. So that's how it happened. And then senior roles like project management, as I mentioned, that was an immediate change. The next change was a functional leader, account manager kind of a role. And then moving more to a kind of end-to-end for leading a function. And currently I'm leading the whole India operations for the global product supply chain. So it's been consistently true with my experience.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Rama. And now I think Praveen has been able to, sort out his system. So thanks, Praveen, for joining us.
Really apologies, first of all, from my side. I think I was
No
struggling
problem.
to connect. I think some issue on Zoom administration with our administration. We have blocked for certain reasons. So,
No problem. No problem. So I'll just, quickly talk to the attendees about Praveen. So Praveen heads logistics and distribution at Godrej and Boyce. And of course, Praveen's career has been fascinating journey from operations to strategy. And let me tell you, when it comes to leading large scale operations, Praveen has been there, done that, and kind of made it look effortless. So, Praveen, one interesting question for you, that you can start off with. It's from Kalaivanan. How many extra hours per week are required in addition to online hours? That's generic, right? Because it's kind of on you, so you can tell them how you managed your job as well as the XPM program requirements, learning, and so on side by side.
so hi, first of all, I want to congratulate everyone, who has opted for this course because that requires a courage. The first step you have already done, I guess, who all are listening to in the middle of your career, when you opt for your higher studies, definitely it's a courageous decision. So that's done one part. But second part, it is interesting, because how you have to manage time because you have a responsibility altogether, not only at your office, but definitely at your home as well. And the third responsibility comes, when you have to study for yourself. So here, you have to create a balance. And this balance also teaches you a lot of things in your life, which will help you in taking a senior leadership roles. So now I'll not say that time. See, you have to prioritize yourself and timetable. I think other day I was speaking to some of my team members. They also opted for this higher education. So what I was telling you have to create a whole timetable, and it is not only studies or not only your work, but your family time also. Now, that is a very important part. What I did, and so we were a little fortunate because that time when I did, it was a COVID time. So we were having a lot of time for studies. But here, you have to prioritize according to you. At least for that matter, 2 hours if you will take out for this whole course every day, it is sufficient. Because it's not, I have seen a lot of people who takes more than 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours. But as I did in it, 2 hours every day was a sufficient time to get through into the details of it. And that 2 hours should be a total 2 hours cut off from each and every part because, a lot of disturbance mails and everything comes. But 2 hours specifically for this course every day throughout the 2 year, I think, you are sorted. So this is where, you have to prioritize yourself, how you are going it. But the another angle, which I felt, which helps you a lot to create this timetable is you go back to the school and go back to the reading. Very often, what happens, when you go into the journey of your professional thing and creating a balance out of for your family and all, your time for reading gets a little bit down. So there's another chance, you start reading and you create that wisdom which is required for your senior leadership. So this platform also provides that. So this I'm raising cut short, create a timetable which is 2 hours every day. You can have a split between 1 hour in the morning and 1 hour in the evening. And this is what. So another thing which is very important here is how you create that experience of sharing between your colleagues and friends. This is also another part after two hours. Whatever you are learning, you share with your colleagues, you share with your friends. This also helps you to engage in this particular curriculum more, because only learning will not suffice. Here, you have to lead by examples. Whatever you have learned, showcase that in your work area and in your friends. Try to implement those learnings, and this also helps you to I think take this course better. You will be absorbing it better way. So this is a short answer for that, but it depends upon individual doing it.
Thanks, Praveen, and thanks for that question as well. Gayatri, since you've made various changes, right, and you've moved, of course, from corporate to entrepreneurship, there's a very interesting question from Balaji that I think you'd be able to answer best. So the question is, I have been in academia for more than 20 years and hold a leadership position now. What will be your take on pursuing the PGXPM? Will it really help me to transition into other sectors that are relevant to my experience, or will it help me fine-tune my academic administration responsibilities, which I currently have?
Sure. Hey, Balaji, thank you for your service in the academic industry, first of all. And other is thank you for all the participants in tuning in on a Sunday. See, I think the answer is yes and a yes. I would say simply because one, when I was doing my PGPs, I think that I was in my early 30s. There are a lot of people in early 50s whom I was admiring for staying through the conversation and most importantly, being in the learning journey. Now, I'm in the late 40s and I continue to stay connected with multiple forums and continue to stay in my learning journey. I think one is, understanding that age is just a number and it's a matter of, effort as well as enthusiasm, that the two double E's that you can put into your work, that matters, right? And your path could go either way. It depends on your interest in terms of whether you want to, will it fine tune your administrative duties? Definitely. Because a lot of the frameworks that I have used, I'm sure is the same as PGXPM even today, is you have lots of frameworks that you are given in this class, and then you are given case studies. And then case studies is not like a Ratna kind of a case study. I hope people don't, shout me because of I'm using a bad word. But Ratna, basically, you're not actually mugging anything. You're actually applying yourself into that. Be it a case study of Ratan Tata or how Cafe Coffee Day worked, everything, you are actually not only going through the case study, you are going and understanding what happened financially, what happened people-wise, what happened at various dimensions, suppliers, how and did they use analytics to take them. So you are actually literally living somebody else's life through that lens. So what happens is your own understanding, you don't have to make those same thing mistakes or a great work for you to do that. I think that sort of a ability to live through that lenses and going and applying immediately. You can actually take that learning and apply it in that immediately in the next 6 weeks or 12 weeks. Helped me a lot in I have before a PGXPM, I always used to think that I can give a rough draft. Somebody else can make it perfect. That sort of a thinking changed in me, saying everything that I have to do. Imagine that this is the most important thing that I have to do in my life. So if you keep that in mind in terms of saying, I will do the best I can, irrespective of whether I have 1 hour, 10 minutes or 12 hours. So based on the amount of time I have, I was able to time manage. Like what Praveen was saying, because you are doing multiple things at the same time, you get better at managing time. So in many of these, submissions, you would have exactly 4 hours. So by then you actually finish it. Sometimes you have 3 months to finish. Then you actually do more research, spend more energy, talk to people and get it. So you understand how to do it and still give the good one, because we still wanted marks. Just like how every interaction, I would like you all to talk about Great Lakes and want you to be joining Great Lakes. We want each of us want to be the perfect. So long story short, I do think that if you want to pivot, I pivoted after I finished my MBA, and for 3 years, I was continuing in corporate in Infosys. And then I decided to take a consulting kind of a role in ThoughtWorks. I went ahead and did consulting for large corporates, and that was very scary to start with, because you are actually toe to toe with CEOs. That's one of the things that I learned in the PGXPM. You can't look at somebody's foot, neither can you look at somebody's head. You have to always look at people in their eye level. So those are simple things. No, you have to keep telling yourself that how much ever butterflies you have when you're coaching another CEO, you better you have to level set saying that I am worth it. I want to be here, right? So once I finished that 3 or 4 years, then what happened is I went into, I ran my own consulting firm. And thanks to the opportunities that has been bestowed out on me. So I got one and I said, I will do a test learn or a test run for about 6 months. And whenever I moved out of a corporate, I also kept telling, hey, I'm going to try this for 6 months. If things are not working out, I'm going to come back. So you don't burn your bridges. You actually keep your relationship solid because you worked on it, right? You try it, you find yourself enjoyable staying there. And what happens is more and more you do this, you're giving yourself time, not only to fail, but also to succeed. That has helped me over and over again. Hope that helps, Balaji.
Yeah, I think that was quite detailed and gave out the right kind of push to that question. So there are a few questions that are kind of repetitive. So we can put those into one. There's a question from Rahul and Abhinav. So one part of the question, says that who is the right candidate for this program? Is the curriculum in line with the current industry practices? And how will the program help an individual to elevate to the next level? So part of this has been answered. And related to the curriculum, I can tell you an exercise that we did just recently for all of our programs, including full-time as well as executive, is that we sat with, we had multiple focus group discussions with alumni plus corporate recruiters for our full-time programs. And, we asked them, right, like a Great Lakes student who's come to you maybe 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and 1 year ago, right? What is something that can be improved, right, in the curriculum? And we actually sat with them. We made courses. We have innovation sandboxes now. We also have labs, right, that are not just theory, but practice-based labs where we get practitioners to come and take those labs for you. Your specializations, more on the lines of a full-time now, are not just finance, marketing, operations. They dig deeper into product management, into consulting, and a lot of the others. So our curriculum is always on the move, and it's not like how it was 5 years ago. It's the same now. It changes every year. That's why you see on our website also, you have to wait till like the last 2-3 weeks to actually get the list of all of your courses that you're going to have in term 1, term 2, and so on. So I'd let Rama probably take the second part of this question, which is who is the right candidate for this program.
Sure. So let me give an example. Okay. So who is the right candidate is if you are very technically oriented and saying, hey, I want to kind of very focus on the particular technical stuff and become a SME in that, I might say, okay, this might not suit you because you are here more expanding horizon, becoming, but still I would say yes, because even if you're, let's say, SME in your space, it helps you understanding the broader picture. But if you are a subject matter expertise, like let's say for my own self, right, when I was taking this course, I asked this question, and that's why I feel this is a very good question. So I was completely committed technically. I said, I want to become a technical expert. I was a Java or Oracle developer. I said, I want to live and die in this. But interestingly, my wife had done her MBA and she challenged. She said that, hey, you look, Rama, all this is great, but what about you growing in this space? Like, are you sure that you're well equipped for the future, that just being technically equipping yourself, will you be ahead of the game? Because your competition is not going to be like that. A guy who's sitting next to you could be extremely talented, and he has this additional lens that he brings it, and that helps him in growth. So I was of the kind saying that I don't need MBA. I don't need any additional education. I'm more a practical guy. I learn through my experience. I will be the best in guy doing the work harder, smarter. So I would say that it is for anybody who's willing to grow, right? Like who wants to be in this corporate space ahead in terms of being future ready. I would say this applies, because I used to think it's only for people who want to be in the management, like who want to be in the leadership role, or who wants to take up a strategic role. That's how I initially perceived. and I'm giving you my experience, right? But then what I realized is when I now am sitting in a leadership role, I'm pushing all my team members saying, hey guys, okay, you have done your technical, but go to this course, because I feel that this course helps you to be much more responsible, much more true a value enabler for the organization. Because, as I said, right, it helps you really to open the path for growth. Because if I'm a particular person, let's say I'm a chemical industry, or I see a QA engineer or a test engineer, if I'm just in that one path alone, it has certain limitations. With the current trends, a lot of things get outsourced, or certain things drastically change. And what I've seen is it puts us in a very difficult situation if we are very one-dimensional, meaning that I'm just in one track, and if that track has a challenge, then I don't know where to shift. I think that's where I feel that for anyone who has aspiration to grow and want to be impactful, I feel that this course makes you much more stronger. And I'm telling it from the other side, right? If I'm currently as a in a leadership role in organization. For me, anybody who is after a few years of experience, who have got the foundational technical expertise or got the foundational functional expertise, I feel that this helps them to be much more impactful and be much more value added in the organization. That's how I would put it in terms of this course, how it really helps. And it's just that it gives you that more confidence. It gives you that confidence, that additional, as Gayatri, Devi and Praveen mentioned, the tools and framework which you can apply in any difficult situation, which you makes you really ahead of the game in terms of the framework which you give, and the assignments which you do gives you a lot of confidence. Okay, I can manage this, I can solve this, and gets you going.
Praveen, you've been in Godrej and Boyce for a long time, right? And as far as I know, I think you started off in finance. So, there's a very interesting question on ROI for you. So many executives wonder about the return on investment of an executive MBA. From your perspective, how has the PGXPM helped you achieve career milestones? And what would you say to someone who is on the fence about taking up this program?
Yeah, interesting. This ROI is ghosting me everywhere. Yesterday only, our CEO asked me, in some one of our investment we wanted to do, tell me the ROI. And just tell you, friends, what helped me in calculating ROI is a class from the Great Lakes, which created such a beautiful template for our ROI. It doesn't give you only one dimensions, at least 5 to 6 dimensions to showcase how this investment is helping the cause. Now, why I'm talking here is, well, this is what it is learned. This is a kind of a I'll say substance it is created in you, that automatically that investment which you will do in 2 years, it will not help in one dimension. It will help in 4 or 5 dimensions. I'll tell you what are those. First, the very first is it will create a lot of wisdom and substance in you, of not only of one subject, it will be of different kind of subject. Second, it elevates your confidence a lot. When you are interacting with the senior leadership, or in a board meetings, or you are giving some presentation to for some good implementations of excellence and all. It gives you a lot of confidence because you are backing with some knowledge. uh Third thing, which I felt, which helped me also, is it was, you create your some methodology, and you structure everything very well. I think Gayatri already talked about, but it happens automatically. Whenever you will be facing some issue or a problem anywhere, you will go back to the basics, because the whole curriculum is designed that way. You will structure out your problem really well. And if you are able to structure out this, what it will help, which is a requirement for every leadership, is you can take a perfect decision, a decision which is at a right time and a right decision. This is what it is creating today. A basic difference in me is I am able to take decisions so fast because it is all my planning and everything is very structured. So this is what you will gain. And I think all these benefits that I have told you, it is not one dimension. So all those investments which you have made on a money side or in the time side, 2 years, it is perfectly planned. I can say your discounted payback period, you will see, in class of our finance classes, they will tell you it will be definitely high. And if you say your MIRR will also be very high, it will be more than what you have invested. So this is what I have learned in these 2, 3 years. Every concept that you learn, you implement, and you will get returns in your promotions, in your overall wisdom, and definitely in your career as well.
Thanks, Praveen. There are two, three similar questions, so I've just framed it into one question from Rahul and Suryansh. Right, the question is for you, Gayatri. You transitioned into entrepreneurship after your corporate stint. So how did the executive MBA influence your decision to become a co-founder, which is the transition? And what were the specific skills or knowledge you gained that helped in starting and actually growing the venture?
Yeah, certainly. I think I loved a couple of subjects that I learned. I don't know if they continue, is entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship. Basically, how do you make that? And then finance was something that I enjoyed. Earlier, before I being coming from a developer and a young manager, all you are given is a concept of, okay, how many people, what is the schedule, are you able to manage the quality? Only 3 dimensions you manage. But in MBA, actually, you look at it from finance as a, I remember Professor Raghu telling simply, a company exists to make profit. Simple. And such a simple one-liner. He expanded and expanded into EBITDA, to taxation, to all of those additional complexities. But given that we had very clean and clear, how do you look at it? I started reading the balance sheets of organizations. You actually, as part of the, it's not like, please don't think that we are all, I'm a nerd and I had to do it. It was because, and it was part of our curriculum that we had to read a few, just like macroeconomics, you had to go and read your annual, what Nirmala Sitharaman for of those years, FM actually presents the budget. You actually go and read the annual budget and how they have allocated budget and how it works. And one of the key things that you understand is about how do you manage not only people management, you also learn separately. You also manage what is that unique value prop that you want to bring and how are you differentiated from the competition. Somehow, and I remember a strategic cost management where they continue to talk about what are your value levers and what are your cost levers. While it may look to simple words, this has got a profound effect as an entrepreneur running a firm, because costs are needed. Like if you don't spend, that's it, you are doomed. You don't, you can't say something that you can. At the same time, how much is that ROI? Like what Praveen is talking about, that ROI actually makes you, people talk to me every time when we go for investment, right? How much are we bringing in? In fact, I keep talking to people about how are you looking at not only from an investment and ROI perspective. So there are 3 different dimensions in terms of looking at a firm, right? One is the finance of it. Second is the impact. What is the impact that you are creating for your people, for your customers, and for yourself? The third dimension is the value and cost levers in a big picture. You look at it, actually, these are the things that has made me learn. And I have been continuing to learn after this moment. You actually know how to read. I'm not saying from a ABCD, but at least how to read a budget, read a balance sheet, read something. It also helps you to be part of the conversation. So you have a seat in the table. So moment you have a seat in the table, you can also to some extent read ability to cut through bullshit to a normal one, right? To somebody who's actually earnestly wanting to do something, to somebody who doesn't want, who's also putting a nice picture for you. So I think understanding these nuances, you have to be continuing to invest in yourself and continue to learn. And that enables you to become an entrepreneur, because then you constantly are asking yourself as to the costs that you're spending, is it actually benefiting for you? in a business like mine, you have to say, okay, am I able to attract more people to come and join my consulting firm, or am I able to attract the best of the entrepreneurs to come in and talk to me as investment management firm? So whichever game that I'm playing in terms of either a consulting gig that I'm running or investment management, you have to constantly see, am I attracting the right value? If I'm not, then I look at the fourth pillar of marketing. So maybe I'm not marketing myself properly. Marketing of 2010 is very different from what I'm doing 24, but still it's the same, right? What is your brand proposition? And are you actually having promoters of yourself? I mean, when I say promoters, not necessarily, big influencers like you don't need an MS Dhoni or a Sachin Tendulkar to talk about you. But are there somebody else talking about you, about your brand promise when you're not around also? So that sort of enabling these four dimensions of it, if you understand, you don't get scared of finance, don't get scared of marketing, and don't think that, oh, branding is something that somebody else does. Moment you're a founder, you got to do everything. For example, when we recently put up our Sangatna Angels site, I worked with some 14 different technology suits and integrated all of them. You may think, oh, hey, you run such large companies and you have to hire somebody else. Guess what? You, as a startup, you have to do everything and be ready to do everything. See, that is the key. I mean, you got to have a stomach to say, hey, I can be ready to do that. I think that's really key as a entrepreneur. And those basics has been set in me, at least the value as well as the ethics to put that hard work. Back to you, Yash.
Okay. Thanks, Gayatri, for actually talking about entrepreneurship as well as intrapreneurship, because that's also, kind of going to be more relevant to our, audience who's here today. So there's a question from Rahul, which, I'll open to any of you who can take it. So Rahul has been in the project management domain for about 8 years, and he's also done a full-time MBA from 2012 to 2014 in specializing in operations management. So first part of the question is, of course, how will this program help me move towards a senior leadership role, which we've covered extensively. And the second part of it is, he always receives feedback that he's good in theory, but unable to actually implement that in his day-to-day, working. So any thoughts on that?
I can start. Maybe I think he has already given the kind of a part of the puzzle in his own response, because I think if that is the case, then this course, right, being which we all spoke about, that it is not just theory, you're applying it in your because this is working plus learning. I think this will be a beautiful opportunity because he has already got all the skill set. With this, he can apply and tune himself for the future growth with the right faculty and his own the classroom, the friends and the network which he gets. He would be able to surely crack it. And the second, I always feel that is that from a degree from a reputed organization helps, because what I have seen is that the subject is the same. I can Google it and read it. There's no big difference. I can videos are there, YouTube is there. Nowadays, the content is not a problem, but who do you learn this content from? So when Gayatri Devi mentioned about Raghu, and I think it just resonated how he changed the whole concept of financial. I was never a finance number used to worry me, but he made it so easy that now, as Gayatri Devi mentioned, I go through it. It's never a problem. Even investment tips. So I think that's going to be the big game changer. That from a reputed institution with the right faculty, that will give the leap which required. That's just 2 cents on my side. But I'll let the other panelists also comment.
Just to add one thing for him, as you have already done MBA before, but here, when you will be doing your capstone project, so take some practical project which you can implement, that will give you and open a window for you. and the kind of a help which is required and which is given by the professors there, that the faculty will be of a great help. So that thing, which and not only capstone project, because that will be a full big project, and you are from the management. I think it will help you a lot. But the other case studies also, whenever there is some case study or there is some project work, try to see that it is closer to your work and you can implement it in your day-to-day thing. So this will definitely helps you to improve your whatever you have said some weakness, and other side it will create a lot of opportunities also for you to learn it properly. So just to add what Mr. Rama said.
One I can add is taking a 360-degree feedback to say what are the nuances that your stakeholders are expecting, not just from your team, but also from your customers, from your seniors, from your lateral peers. Take a look at that. I think that helps you profoundly, and then see if you can match some of that. And I don't know if there is a shorter program, like a capstone program plus a few subjects that you want to do. I don't know if Great Lakes is now offering such a program. That is something that I would recommend. But I think the peers helps. I have got feedback from my Great Lakes student saying that, Gayatri, you're talking very fast. Guess what? I've always heard that feedback earlier, but I am spending a lot of my own money and time here. So I decided that, guess what? I'm going to talk slower than what I was earlier. I still talk fast, but at least I've made some changes. I think that helps, saying you're intentional about doing, right? So that aspect, what Praveen and Rama are saying, doing is believing, guys. And believing and makes you all-knowing, and that takes you to your actual self-reliance, being, and things like that. It may sound very cheesy, but that's unless you go and be in the part of the field. It's all about that. It's the PPTs, Excels, and documents only, and the great code takes you only so far in building a great organization.
I just want to add to what I at least went through, right? Because I was a project manager, and Praveen, what could happen is that you could also sorry, I mentioned Praveen, like it could also open up new career paths. See, I was a project manager, and I thought project manager is end of life for me, and I need to grow there. But certain things, when you learn, when you have maybe a few others, as I think Praveen and Gayatri mentioned, it opens up new opportunities, windows, which requires project management kind of skills. But with this additional, I would say, few more degrees of interest, you could open up new career options, which requires project management skills, like heading a function in a particular space requires project management plus these capabilities. So it opens up more roles which you might have not been looking for. Maybe say, hey, this is not a project manager role, so let me not go there. But now it gives you that opportunity to look at it. So that helped me. It happened to me because I was a project manager. After this, I started taking more of functional role, and I'm now far away from the project manager role, which I was doing 10 years back when I took the course. So it helped in that manner.
Okay. So Rahul, I think you're the luckiest panelist here because you got an answer from all three of our luckiest attendee here. You got an answer from all three of our panelists. Hope that helped. There's one more question from Abhinav. That's again more on the lines of supply chain management. So maybe Praveen, you can start. I have 8 years of experience in strategic sourcing and category management type of roles. How can this program help me advance my skills in other verticals of supply chain management?
So I guess see, in this course, good part is you have got a lovely subjects on the supply chain, and especially also in building certain skills. I'll tell you one best subject I liked was negotiation skills. I've not seen in many courses this subject, but it is a wonderful skill to have when you are a supply chain professional. And the similar way, but you have a whole project management also, and you have advanced analytics and all. And also, a best part about it, though you are in a strategic sourcing, that's good. but it is have got a very good blend. It starts, first of all, it will unlearn you to, again, will tell about the basics and whatever you learn. Then it will go to the advanced, it will functional knowledge to you, which you already possess, but it sharpens you, overall knowledge. And the last part, which is there, which is very important for when you will go, is a strategic thing. Advanced, strategic not only at one subject, strategic overall. As there will be a marketing strategy, there will be a strategy of service, there will be a strategy of overall business, and also the subject what Gayatri said about entrepreneurship and all. So this helps you to create your overall personality, not only focusing on the supply chain part. And now supply chain, if you are only your procurement, the other sides opens you in on your outbound logistics, your the other side is your manufacturing and all. But now, with this kind of a strategic outlook where you know the business, so every time what happens now, what I have seen, when I was in my early of my career and not exposed to this career, so strategy was something which people were using it very, very often. So strategic sourcing, strategic supply chain, and all. But what exactly it means? That was a huge difference, after it was exposed. Strategy is something, it is very near to the vision of our business. How close we are to our vision of overall, and what are values of your overall organization. When you are structuring your own goals towards it, that is a kind of a strategy. And somewhere what happens, we create strategies in silos for our functions, but we always miss that opportunity of getting connected and synced with the overall strategy of the organization. But this kind of a exposure when you talk to a faculty, senior faculty, when they will talk about strategy and overall other functions to it, you will also start understanding the reasons and decisions taken by the other services. Like you are in supply chain, but what is happening in marketing or in sales? They will be having some different goals, different dimensions, and a strategy overall, market go to market strategy, or any kind of a strategy. But if you are not aligned with there and you are constructing your own strategy, it will be a difference. So now when you will be exposed to this, and when you will be talking to your professors, faculty, and your peers together, you will create your framework that way. See, whatever I will be making a strategy going forward, it will be totally aligned to my overall vision and mission of the organization. So I guess this helps you a lot in taking ahead. And now I think when you have worked for 8-10 years in a hardcore procurement, this will definitely helps you to grow in the services, like logistic services. Like these days, so I'll tell you, there's a huge boom in supply chain. All your e-commerce players and Amazon's, Flipkarts, everybody is there, and they are hiring these professionals who have a perfect knowledge of all overall this the supply chain. So this is a perfect time. You have opted this course. If you have already opted, I guess take this overall knowledge, create a comprehensive and a condensed knowledge of all the operations, and then sky is the limit for you.
Thanks so much, Praveen. There's one very important, I think, final question that will benefit all. So I'll let each of you, take this one by one. And the context of this question is basically impact of experiential learning. So when we participate in our rankings, accreditation process, one of the positive feedbacks we always get is related to the experiential part of it, whether it's for exec or whether it's for full time. So the question is, we know Great Lakes places a strong emphasis on experiential learning. Can each of you share an example of how that hands-on learning approach, whether it was through projects or live case studies, impacted your approach to solving real-world business problems?
Sure. I can probably start, and then I can hand it over to folks. My capstone project was to combine financial management with supply chain. So it was financial supply chain management in terms of giving loans based on the based on your purchase orders, as well as financing at a lower rate. So, and how that can be financed, and how that has a better, I think mine was only to create a policy and a paper to make that happen, right? So I actually found it. I was already working in 2 of the captive centers. I'll probably refrain the names. I would not say in this webinar. But so what I said is, based on this, I actually went to a few branches and spoke to them and few suppliers as well as purchasers to say, what are the problems that they're facing today before doing it. And of course, I am like what my professor recommended. I also had a book to give me a framework around financial supply chain management. And it was what happens is when you're talking about experiential, that you actually start staying in somebody else's feet. You understand the problems that somebody else is having and articulate that in your solution. So you can have a best of the tool, but unless there are some applications, real life applications, very hard to understand that. I think that is one that is coming in the top of my mind, apart from lots of experiences in terms of better presentation skills, using the spreadsheets to reading, all of that is experience as well. But this was a big change in me, where I had used it in multiple times over a period of time, the same, FCM, the financial supply chain management.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. It was very, also because we have done this course long time back, it just reflects how the capstone was really helpful. And I agree, right? Each and every part assignment, the case studies was helpful. So I keep saying that all this is somewhere you're learning, right? It's not that you may not apply that then and there, but as what Praveen and Gayatri, Devi mentioned, like so many times when I apply something, I've said, okay, that's something I've learned some time back. But for me, 2 things stand out. One was with Dr. Bala, we were doing the balance scorecard, like how to look at the whole financial management, the cost structure. So that really helped, because we in my role, we had a M&A, and so we had to do a complete cost restructuring and look at how to build that synergy. And that's something we did it actually as a case study and as an assignment. So that really helped me, because I used to feel that, okay, everybody on the other side, other seats in the table knew what they're doing. But then I realized that we're all in the same boat. Like, so even if you have that additional 1 or 2 tools that you're learning here, helps in that overall bringing value to that conversation or to discussion, that really help in the M&A discussion, where we, in the pharma organization, we that's our bread and butter. We keep having mergers and acquisition to build that pipeline which we need for the future. That really helped. The other one which I really remember, which changed my career, was the operational research. A simple thing of how to construct a survey, how to get the primary data from the larger market, was something I've never done, because I used to work mostly with the IT side of it. That really helped me in my career, where I actually pivoted in one part last 6-7 years back into analytics, or more into data science space. And one of the fundamental thing was how do I get data to research? How do I get more inputs, and so that constructing a survey, how do you analyze the data and then make sense of it and give a recommendation to the organization, was really, really helpful. So these are 2 things I at least can immediately think of, which was kind of directly helped me in kind of helping me where I'm with the career right now.
Yeah, hi. So from my side, the best part, what I learned was in the strategy class of a boardroom game which we play. I think, that gave you a overall perspective of the organization. And I think, hope, it is continuing, and you should continue, if it is there, because that is I'll say a perfect test of a overall course, what you have learned. You will know, what kind of a study which you have done, and you are applying there in that game. Every decisions you are making, right from your from manufacturing till sales till service and everything, on your governance and everything, this I guess, that is a perfect answer, when you get to know, okay, yes, you have done right things. One is that. And second, again, I will talk about capstone project. I took a very live case there this in this capstone project. We were in the middle of in Godrej and Boyce, we were in the middle of doing a network change. And network change, I'm talking about my supply chain network change. And we wanted to align with our strategy of the sales, how it is moving, because customer was changing, overall demographic, we were changing, and as an Indian business, you talk about, and also new channels were coming. So we thought, we need to be relevant. Let's do a network change. And I took this real problem to my capstone project. We did a whole greenfield study, a greenfield study which talks about key in the present area, how we will define. And definitely a supply chain professor helped me a lot in it, with all operational exposure what we got, all those analyses and structures we placed. And believe me, 70% of what project outcome was there, it is implemented in our real scenarios also. So all those outcomes which came from the capstone project, today also we have implemented, and we are getting the benefit of the network alignment which we did. And we completed it before recently 3 years back, and able to solve a lot of problems of our customers. Now currently we are able to service our customers better, and we have also reduced our costs well. So being little I'll say flexible towards cost as well, and towards variable towards the cost. So this is what it helps. If you just go into it, you learn the things, and you try to take a problem which is live in your organization or live in your life. So it will be a better thing to understand, because today, whatever we have learned, we have implemented. That's the reason, we are able to express ourselves very, very openly. Another thing, which I liked, and again, Mr. John was there, who was a teacher of entrepreneur. His assignments were also out of the world, I think, I guess still you give that, I think everybody should read that, Lean Startup. I think Gayatri, definitely you would have read about it. You are in that. So this is one another thing, that take a project from that particular book. It opens mind really well. So these three things I still remember because it was very close to me. Thank
And in addition to what all our alumni here mentioned, I think a senior leadership role, it's not really just about the title. It's about the vision, strategy, and ability to influence change, which very clearly all three of them here, from all the examples, are doing on their daily life. So I think if this webinar has really left you feeling energized, curious, or even a little bit motivated, that's a sign for you to take the next step. And I think I'd really like to thank Rama, Gayatri, and Praveen for their time on Sunday morning, as well as all of you who attended and stayed throughout, the last over 1 hour. So thank you once again. Any admissions related questions, such as the timing of the courses, the dates, and so on, please check with our admissions team. They'll also be uploaded very soon on the website. And do connect with all of our alumni on LinkedIn, and sure, you'd be happy to be within the network, and probably reconnect later when you're a student at Great Lakes. So thank you once again, and it's been a pleasure. Have a great Sunday, everyone.
Been a pleasure, and have all the best for the next steps. Thank you.
you so much.
The best, guys. Thank you.
Take care. Bye. Take care. All the best.